Welcome back everybody to the Wandering Samurai Study, in which we review and analyze every single act told in Rurouni Kenshin, and today's act is Act 51, Confrontation. So when I was constructing the outline for this part of the video, I thought that I was going to open up talking about the jokes, but I ended up having a little bit more to say about the jokes than I guess an opening allows. So instead I'm going to talk about that after the chapter summary review, and I just want to mention that Saito revealing that he has a katana versus a saber, at this point in time, it's supposed to raise suspicion because we don't know what kind of role he's going to be playing in Kyoto, at least in this part of the story. His reasoning to Yahiko when Yahiko inquires about the katana, he says that he has special permission to carry a katana versus a saber being too weak for the type of swordsman that he is. We're supposed to believe that he's lying at this point in time. I cannot emphasize it enough, at this point in time. So Saito, you're a liar. But we already kind of knew that because he sent Akamatsu instead of himself going to see Kenshin, or he plotted to send Akamatsu towards Kenshin to weaken him on his way to himself, I guess? I don't know. Let's get into the chapter summary review. Kenshin wants to know why Akamatsu is attempting to kill him, and while striking, Akamatsu says that he'll explain at Kenshin's grave. Kenshin easily dodges his attack, breaking his chain, and Akamatsu pleads mercy, claiming to being forced to attack because of Saito. Once Kenshin turns his back on him, Akamatsu unleashes hidden chains, immobilizing our hero. Back at the dojo, Kaoru notifies Megumi of the threat to Kenshin's life, and Yahiko finds out that Saito has a katana. After swinging Kenshin's body back and forth and presuming that he is dead, Akamatsu reveals everything and Kenshin takes him down. Upon his return to the dojo, Kenshin finds Saito waiting inside for him. So let's get into the jokes. In the initial read of this chapter, I thought that the jokes were not that great. Except for the Megumi one. I thought that the Megumi one was hilarious. I liked Megumi slapping or hitting Sanosuke so that she could go home. It kind of says something about their relationship, but it also kind of just says that Megumi is just like anybody else, and she's been here for 3 days and she's ready to go. So she's a little bit annoyed with Sanosuke. But I think that the Kaoru one, where she writes off as Sanosuke as dead, was a little bit mean-spirited. I thought that it was probably a little bit out of Kaoru's character, but then I kind of remember what I said about the relationship that Sanosuke and Kaoru have, just actually based off of the last act that we were talking about. I think I recall something about Kaoru being upset that Sanosuke mooches off of her. And so I think that her writing Sanosuke off as dead is kind of her revealing some of the resentment that she feels for Sanosuke for freeloading off of her when she's a struggling businesswoman, I guess, or a dojo owner. But also I think that Kaoru feels more relaxed and that she can make these kinds of jokes because Megumi is here, and Megumi has now herself relaxed with the state of Sanosuke. If Megumi was probably a little bit more worried, then I think Kaoru would not have made this joke. And again, it's supposed to be a joke, and Megumi responds to the joke like very straight face, but then I guess she kind of allows herself to kind of slip a little too, and that's where the Megumi joke comes in, and I like that. So I think initially I responded kind of but upon a little bit more thought, I actually liked it. But I thought that the joke that Kaoru made when Kenshin got back, when she notices the chain marks on Kenshin, I thought that it was a little bit lame. And I also think that if Kaoru were to respond in a much more Kaoru way, she would have probably gotten really mad and tried to call Kenshin a pervert or something for womanizing, if her mind is going in that direction. But, you know, she's so distracted with the police swordsman and the threat to Kenshin's life that I guess she kind of writes it off. But the joke also has a purpose, and we'll get into that in just a moment. For now, I want to talk about Saito calling out Kenshin. When Kenshin returns to the dojo and finds Saito waiting for him, he says that Akamatsu must have given Kenshin some trouble. Did Kenshin really struggle with Akamatsu? Not really. He let himself purposely get caught so that he can get information out of Akamatsu, but once Kenshin got that information, he was pretty much in control of the situation. And I would say that Kenshin was entirely in control of the situation, but I think that the way that Kenshin went about getting this information is different than the way that Saito or maybe Hitokiri Batosai would have during the Bakumatsu. I think that the way that Saito and Hitokiri Batosai would have gone about getting this information of like who's going after his life, it would be more using fear with the threat of murdering the person that is trying to kill you. I think that Saito would have definitely attempted to kill the guy, or right before he's about to kill the guy, he would try to get all of the information that he wants. And Kenshin, being the pacifist that he is and the wanderer, did not even entertain the idea, and he went about it in a different way. However, this brings me to the point of the joke that Kaoru made. The whole point of Kaoru making that joke was so that we can see, once Kenshin got back to the dojo, that the chains actually roughed up Kenshin enough for Kaoru to notice. And I think that Saito would have noticed this as well. I think though what it actually is that Saito just noticed that Kenshin took a really long time to come back from his encounter with Akamatsu. And so let's go ahead and finish off the video by talking about Akamatsu versus Kenshin. Right from the opening pages of the chapter, it's quickly revealed that Kenshin is in total control of the situation. Watsuki reveals in the Secret Life of Character page for Akamatsu that Akamatsu only exists for the purpose of getting beat up. And so here we actually see that Kenshin is pretty much in control. Akamatsu attempts to, I guess, gain the situation because he realizes that Kenshin is faster than him by lying about himself and cowering and telling him that Saito put him up to this. Kenshin calls him a coward, but he also says that he does not believe a word that he is saying. And so I think though that Kenshin knew better than to fully drop his guard. And so when Kenshin gets caught, I believe that Kenshin purposely allowed himself to get caught, as I previously mentioned earlier, for the purpose of getting this information. I don't think that Kenshin knew exactly what Akamatsu was going to do, but I think that he felt that he could not drop his guard, and rightfully so. However, Akamatsu relaying at the beginning of the chapter that he'd only tell Kenshin why he's after his life upon Kenshin's death was kind of a risky move, because what would he have done if Akamatsu, thinks that Kenshin is dead and doesn't actually tell him? Does Kenshin just get up and try one of those fear tactics that I mentioned a moment ago? Like, I kind of want to know what would have happened if Akamatsu did not relay this information. However, in execution, what we actually got in the story, I really like Kenshin playing dead and then getting up immediately and handling the situation. And Akamatsu being arrogant enough to believe that he actually killed Kenshin and that he's more powerful than Kenshin. I think though by now we really know what type of character is actually worth paying attention to. But then again, we could always be thrown for a loop. And when Kenshin finds out from Akamatsu about the politician and Saito and his connection to Jin-e, Kenshin doesn't really seem to respond to it, or if he is going to, it's not in this chapter, but we'll see what happens. But it makes me think though that there really wasn't a plan for the politician, because not even Akamatsu knows the politician's reason for killing Kenshin. He has suspicions, or he has theories as to why he wants Kenshin dead, but he doesn't know for certain. So what this makes me think is that there really wasn't a plan for the politician beyond getting Saito into this story and using a previous connection such as Jin-e to go after Kenshin. Apart from connecting the world together, I don't think that there was much more planned for the politician. But we'll see. And this has been the end of Act 51 of Rurouni Kenshin and the Wandering Samurai Study. If you like this video and you want to see more, then consider subscribing to the channel, leave a thumbs up, and comment down below something that you liked about this chapter. What did you guys think about the jokes? I personally liked them upon thinking about them, but initially I wasn't a big fan. Let me know what you guys think. What did you guys think about Saito and calling Kenshin out? What did you guys think about the Akamatsu versus Kenshin fight? Did you guys like Akamatsu being in the story? I don't think that he's quite done yet, but for the most part, he's pretty much served his purpose. Let me know down below. I will happily engage you all in the comments. Bye, cha. I think, though, that Kenshin went about this differently than the way that Saito and maybe Hitokiri Batosai during the Makuban